Hello, my dear friend, and welcome to another episode of Answers About Alzheimer's. I'm your host, Debra, and I'm so excited that you're here today. If you're brand new, please subscribe down below and join our fabulous family. This channel was made for family and professional caregivers of those with Alzheimer's or other dementias. I'd love to hear from you, so please make sure that you're commenting on what you're learning and also what other topics you'd like me to cover in the future. I also have many articles and informational tips that you can download and print and trainings that you can watch on my website at answersaboutalz.org. And at that website, you can also learn about the certification program, Master Dementia Strategist, that is also available. And this course is not just for professionals, but also for struggling family members who desperately need tools and tips that actually work. Today, I want to talk about the motor and non-motor symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Sometimes Parkinson's disease, or PD, can be difficult to recognize because the symptoms can develop very slowly over years. And the progression of the disease is different from one person to another. At the end of the video, I'm going to mention several different Parkinson's associations, foundations, and groups that you can find even more helpful information from. So make sure you watch until the end. And great resources as well. People who have Parkinson's disease are admitted to the hospital 50% more than their peers. 50% more. One of the biggest reasons is because of mismanagement of medications. Meds must be taken on time, every time, within 10 minutes of the dose. Another common reason for hospitalizations is problems with balance, resulting in falls and injuries. Parkinson's disease is complicated, especially when you add dementia into the symptoms. Those with Parkinson's have a decreased level in dopamine in the brain. When this happens, dopamine is responsible for transmitting the electrical signals to and from areas of the brain and to signal movement. When we don't have enough dopamine, the brain basically misfires and can't transmit the instructions for movement. By the time we are diagnosed, we have already lost 60 to 80% of the dopamine-producing cells in the brain. Another side effect of the drop of dopamine can include feeling tired, unmotivated, and unhappy. Today, I want to talk about motor and non-motor symptoms of Parkinson's disease. Motor symptoms of PD affect the motor functioning or movement. These signs are physically noticeable and are used by doctors to help make a diagnosis. Non-motor symptoms are sometimes called the invisible symptoms of Parkinson's disease because you can't see them. These common symptoms affect almost everybody's system, occur anytime in the occurrence of the disease, even before motor symptoms or diagnosis, and differ in severity from person to person. First, let's talk about the non-motor symptoms. And again, these are the more invisible symptoms of Parkinson's disease, and they can include depression or anxiety. The person with PD may have sadness due to the lower dopamine levels, a loss of energy, decreased interest in activities, or uncontrollable worry. This is not something that can be helped. It is due to the lack of dopamine in the brain. The next one is sleep problems. People with Parkinson's have a difficult time falling asleep or staying asleep. They also are often tired during the day, and they can act out their dreams, which can be extremely hard on the caregivers. A loss of the sense of smell is next, and that is also a non-motor symptom. The person can have a reduction in sensitivity to odors or a complete loss of smell. This can actually occur up to 10 years prior to the diagnosis of Parkinson's disease. The next is cognitive changes. So this person could have dementia-like symptoms. They may have problems with thinking or finding the right word. They could have poor judgment. And many people with Parkinson's report difficulty in multitasking and organizing daily activities. Fatigue is another non-motor symptom, and fatigue can be a complex symptom of Parkinson's disease that is not fully understood. It is known, however, that fatigue is significantly associated with depression and sleep disorders. So they kind of all go together. Hallucinations. Hallucinations and or delusions. So the person may be experiencing hallucinations and seeing things that are not there. And I've done another video on hallucinations and delusions, but it is imperative that you do not tell the person that they are hallucinating. But please watch my video on that because it's very important. Or they may have delusions, which is a very strong false belief. Think of a delusion as a rumor that they believe 100% to be true. Again, it is important that we not argue with the person over this. And again, lots of great tips on my other videos about that for people with Parkinson's disease. They are often paranoid, and these hallucinations and delusions can be devastating to your relationship. So tread lightly here. The next one is apathy. They have a lack of motivation and interest in activities, and they can't help it, and you can't make them want to care. So lack of motivation is also a tough one for the caregiver. Next, we're going to talk about the motor symptoms of a person with Parkinson's. The motor symptoms of a person with PD affects our movement. These symptoms are physically noticeable and are used by doctors to help make a diagnosis. Rigidity is an abnormal stiffness of the limbs or specific parts of the body. The body actually tightens up and becomes rigid, making it difficult to move. Tremors are next, and this can be the shaking of extremities, hands, arms, fingers, or legs. And this is also visible when the body part is at rest. Oftentimes, while the person is performing a task, the tremors can actually diminish. So it's important to keep moving. Postural instability is next, and this is where the motor symptoms affect our posture and creates impaired balance. Difficulty standing and walking. This is when the person will become unsteady and have increased problems with balance. High increases of falling and injury due to falls. And bradykinesia is next. And this is a gradual loss and a slowing down of spontaneous movement, such as your arms don't swing when you're walking, or blinking, or being able to smile. The next motor symptom is very prevalent in Parkinson's disease, is a shuffling gait. And this means that the person's gait, or the way they walk, will have shorter steps and often in a stooped posture. Their steps may become slower and smaller, like closer together. Gait problems can also include a tendency to propel forward with rapid short steps. And this can also be very concerning for the caregiver because they look like they're always going to fall forward, like flat on their face. Speech difficulties are when the person with Parkinson's disease, their voice can become very soft and they have a loss of normal variation in the volume, and they don't show much emotion in their voice, and they almost sound like they're speaking in a monotone way, almost non-emotional. Another motor symptom for the person with Parkinson's disease is that their handwriting can become very small, I noticed this actually with my own mom, and I didn't know this until after she had passed away. I actually think she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, but I actually think that she may have had mixed dementia. And I think that she had Parkinson's as well, because she had shaking in her hands and her handwriting got very, very tiny. So those are the motor and non-motor symptoms of Parkinson's. And now I would like to let you know about a few other places where you might find some really great information and some support. The first one is the Parkinson's Foundation, and they provide news about the disease, information about upcoming events, the latest research and education, and their website is parkinson.org, and their phone number is 800-473-4636. The next is the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research. They have a guide for newly diagnosed people, and you can find a lot of great information on that website, which is michaeljfox.org, and their phone number is 212-509-0995. The next resource is the American Parkinson's Disease Association, APDA, and they are in the education and resources, and their website is apdaparkinsons.org, and their phone number is 800-223-2732. And the last one is the Davis Finney Foundation for Parkinson's. They support programs and research that inspire, inform, and provide the tools that will enable people living with Parkinson's to have more control managing their disease. And their website is davefinneyfoundation.org, and their phone number is 866-358-0285. I hope that some of these resources bring you some relief, and as always, I'm here for you. Remember that together we can. Like and subscribe, share this channel with your friends, and I will see you next time. Thanks for joining me. I'm Debra.